Safety message for June 2024 speaks about hurricane safety. Important reminders: all Palm Tran employees are considered essential and vital to the success of our emergency response plan. All staff should be aware of their responsibility should Palm Tran be called upon. Be sure all of your personal contact information is current. This information is very important as Palm Tran will use this information to contact you with storm updates and job assignments. Some of the things we ask our employees to do to be prepared at the beginning of storm season. We ask them to make sure they have an emergency plan, they have food and water on hand, they have flashlights and batteries, first aid kit, any important documents are secured, they have hygiene products, and they may indeed have access to any local maps. So that is indeed our safety message for the month of June 2024. And remember, Palm Tran's mission is to provide access to opportunity for everyone safely, efficiently, and courteously.
Thank you, Charlie. We're gathered here today to celebrate your loved ones and our new employees. After weeks of intense training, they're ready to go out into the world as Palm Tran bus operators and maintenance technicians. This is certainly a badge of honor and merit in Palm Beach County because they serve as ambassadors to all who travel throughout our community. Now, for the moment we've been waiting for, I'd like to introduce our graduates, starting with our bus operators. Tayandrick Allen. Tony Alvarado. Jasper Askins. Renavia Clark Buchanan. Benito Cadet. Oscar Castano. Jeff Charles. Antonio DeChico. Philistine Decimus. Nicole Dreekford. Ben Williams Dusenard. Cesar Gonzalez. Jennifer Hanna. France Lesage. Ashbel Nesbeth. Dwayne Revere. Lakeisha Scarlett. Richard Walker. And for our maintenance technicians, we have Anthony Cram, Lucas Jones, Jensen Mendoza, Myron Simmons, Fabian Lala, and Tanisha Reynolds. Please join me in congratulating them. Before we move on, you may be seated first. Before we move on, I'd like to take the time to introduce Palm Tran's executive leadership team. So please stand when introduced. First, I'll start with our interim executive director, Mr. Michael J. Blaylock. Feel free to come. Next, we have Charlie Boediger, interim director of operations. Betty Garrett, executive chief of human resources. Lynn Johnson, director of administrative services. And then a couple others, Ms. Deborah Posey Blocker, Senior Manager of Legislative and Governmental Affairs and Interim Director of Support Services. Yash Nagal, Director of Transit Planning. And Ms. Jamila Hicks, Senior Manager of Performance Management. And now I'd like to turn the floor over to Mr. Charlie Boediger, Interim Director of Operations, followed by Joey Acevedo, who is our ATU local president. And then next we'll have remarks from Mr. Michael J. Blaylock with comments by Loretta Fuegos, who is our veteran operator. and our keynote speaker, Dr. James Green. Charlie.
All right, Evan, thank you very much. So before I make my opening remarks, I just wanted to introduce my operations management team, if you will. So I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Mr. Roderick Owens, Miss Alicia Gray. Sitting in the back is Mr. Uhart Broughton. And in the back corner over here is Miss Amanda Wright, and she's our special projects coordinator. So good afternoon and welcome. Graduation is one of the most important and significant events we as an agency do all year. Today, for the first time, we have the opportunity to celebrate our bus operators and maintenance employees. First, I'd like to address the bus operators. Bus operators who have endured a 6-week training program that tested your strength, endurance, and perseverance. Your teams have worked late nights, early mornings, weekends. You've been on the road and in the classroom and in the bus yard. You have come to understand Palm Tran's commitment to safety. You have met all the requirements to become a professional bus operator. We are proud of your hard work, and we know that moving forward, you will play a fundamental role in driving our agency forward. To our maintenance employees, you have also gone through a rigorous training program. Many of you have also studied and successfully completed the credentialing to become commercial bus operators, so congratulations for that. More importantly, all of you are already working hard serving our internal and external customers. You're operating our fixed route and working behind the scenes to make our service great, making our service a great experience for our community. You are now living the Palm Tran mission of providing service, of providing access to opportunity for everyone safely, efficiently, and courteously. I would like to congratulate all of you for achieving this feat. So now I'd also like to invite Joey Acevedo, the president of Local 1577 Amalgamated Transit Union, to the podium to address you as well. Joey.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank you for all the hard work you've put into the company during the training and this whole process. I want to be one of the first ones that congratulate you on your experience during the training. Like Mr. Brodiger said, you could have worked anywhere else, but you decided to come to work with us and make us a better team. Today marks a significant milestone in our lives. We work hard to reach this moment, and we should be proud of ourselves. As we stand here, we're not the same individuals who walked through these doors. We've learned, we evolved, and formed unbreakable bonds, creating unforgettable memories, and discovered our passion. As we move forward, that life is full of ups and downs. Embrace challenges, take risks, never stop learning, being kind, empathetic, and compassionate towards others, and make a positive impact in your community at large. Remember, success is not just about achieving your goals, but also about lifting others along the way. Remember, supporting one another and celebrating each other's wins is what Palm Tran is all about. Thank you, and enjoy your time here. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey, for those encouraging words. It's now my honor to introduce Palm Tran's interim executive director, Mr. Michael J. Blaylock. When Mr. Blaylock came to Palm Tran, he described himself as wanting to bring value to our agency as a value added, but I think he's done that and much more. He is highly regarded throughout our industry in transportation as a leader and visionary who began his extensive career in 1982 with the Jacksonville Transit Authority. It was the first expressway authority in Florida and one of the few agencies in the country with responsibilities for building bridges, highways, and operating a ferry and public transportation system. He began his tenure with JTA as the Grants and Facilities Administrator and was later promoted and served in a host of key leadership positions that led to an appointment as the agency's 6th CEO in 2002. and the first African American chosen to serve in this capacity until his retirement in 2012. His expansive career of firsts and a persistent passion for excellence in the transportation industry resulted in establishing Blaylock Transportation Group International, where he now serves as the principal and CEO. And he's done exactly that. He's taken it international with assignments throughout the Middle East, including Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So he's received numerous awards and recognitions over the span of his career from a host of local, state, and national organizations for his outstanding service and his leadership. He's also been an inductee into the Florida Transportation Hall of Fame. So please welcome me in joining Mr. Michael J. Blaylock to the stage.
Y'all ready to go to work? Let me take a moment to recognize the Assistant County Administrator, Mr. Todd Bellalaron. Stand up, Todd. Let everybody see you. He's the guy behind the scenes, try to keep me straight. And I want to do one other little thing. So, Devon, would you come up a second, please? Come up. And I want you to introduce the safety team. These are the guys that hopefully y'all won't have to spend too much time with other than training. Tell 'em who you are.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dovon Meredith. I'm the operations manager for safety and training. Congratulations once again. It was a joy having you all. And hopefully the only time I get to spend some time with you just in passing, getting those suggestions and concerns that we quite often ask for, all right? That's it, right? All right. So I would like to introduce our beautiful safety staff that's motivated these people, these courageous operators and some of the maintenance individuals to those CDLs and that training and that understanding of how our expectations and how we're gonna move forward, correct? All right, starting with our senior. Come on. Start walking, come on. Here's our senior trainer, safety and training specialist, Miss Claudine Shaw. Our next safety and training specialist, come on, Ms. Angela Sturgis. Come on down. Let's give Ms. Angela a round of applause. There we go. Our next specialist, who's only been with us a few days here, Ms. Adrian Beechner, but want to congratulate her for actually coming over. She's been an outstanding supervisor for Tran for quite some time. And I want to say thank you, Charlie, for allowing that process. And also, Mr. Owens, thank you. Get out your feelings. And last but definitely not least, this is our glue. I always call her our glue to this department. Anytime I call, she answers. I drive her crazy. Miss Giselle Hernandez, our record and analyst. And together we are your safety and training team. Absent from us is our senior manager, Mr. Charles Hall, and also one of our other specialists, Mr. Fred Richardson. Thank you, enjoy.
So let me again welcome you to what I consider a tremendous opportunity. I consider a bus operator in the line of such as I consider police officers and firemen, because you're providing a lifeline to this community. Thousands of people will be depending on you every morning, afternoon, to go to work, to go to school, medical appointments, grandmothers, daughters, sons, aunties, daddies. You provide a lifeline opportunity for these people. So I want you to take your commitment and your acceptance as a professional operator and a professional maintenance technician Now, I said there's a difference between, I used to tell the class back in the day, there's a difference between a wheel holder and a professional operator. I would like to regard all of you, the bus operators, as professional operators. A wheel holder is a person that does what? Hold the wheel. Technicians, we used to call them either you're a professional maintenance technician or you're a shade tree mechanic. And Palm Tran does not hire shade tree mechanics. Well, what you have before you is a new season in your life. And as I said earlier, you have a lot of people that are going to be depending on you. And I would just say that what you're doing is you are providing a ministry, because you might be the only person that that customer gets to see a smile from. So I challenge you, number one, to come to work every day. I challenge you to come to work every day when you are required and expected to come to work. And when overtime is available, given where we are right now, I expect for you to volunteer to do that as well. I expect for you to operate from a position of excellence. I expect for you to be on time. Guess what? Those thousands of people are dependent on you every day, and if you don't show up, it might be a chance that they might not get service. You're providing a lifeline service, and I don't want you to forget that. Now we are in 100-degree heat. What that means, you have to get rest. You can't stay out all night. You got to drink plenty of water, hydrate yourself properly, but your rest is important, because in most cases, you're going to be getting up early in the morning. So you can't hang out with the boys, you can't hang out with the girls. You tell them you got to be in the bed by 8:30. But seriously, you have a serious job, because you are driving this long 40-foot bus with lives in your hands. And you're driving through the streets of Palm Beach County. And that is a challenge within itself. So it is all important for you to be able to get your rest properly. You'll be driving thousands of miles. You're going to be meeting all kinds of people, all kinds of situations and circumstances. I used to say that bus drivers often can be betrayed or maybe accept the duties of psychologist and doctor and counselor, and but the good news is that you're there to drive that bus as safely as possible. Don't take any chances. And more importantly, if you don't know, ask a question. I challenge the families who have supported this tremendous efforts by these employees that when they get home, don't fuss at them immediately. Let them sit down and rest a few minutes. At least give them about 30 minutes, and then you can tell them all the problems that happened that day. But allow them to decompress, because they have seen and witnessed a whole lot in the course of their day. And rest is important. So when you see them past 8:30, not going to bed, you tell them, get in the bed. And I would say to the wives and stuff and the girlfriends and whatever, just draw the bath for them and let them soak, let them relax and serve them in bed, come on. But anyway, listen, you have a very serious charge. You have a serious responsibility. But I seriously ask that you come to work every day. Now, I'm old school. I used to be one of these people that really believe, God, thank you for this job. And 12 horses couldn't keep me from my job unless I was really sick. And if you're sick and you're not well, that's one thing, because we don't want you to come to work unwell, because you have lives in your hands. But take care of your bodies, take care of yourselves. Welcome to the family of Palm Tran. Now I want to introduce to you a veteran. She's been down the road a couple times. She knows what she's doing. And if you see her, you can probably get a lot of good advice. And if you don't know, like I say, ask the question. She was selected as the 2022 Florida Public Transportation Association Driver of the Year. So let me present to you none other than Miss Loretta Fragos.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome. I started Tran as a bus operator 28 years ago, and it warms my heart to see all of y'all starting your journey. I am so proud of you for completing your training and joining our ranks as an official bus operator. When I first started this job, I wasn't sure if I could handle the hours because I had responsibilities and small children at home. But with the support of my family, I made it work, and it was the best decision I made. I love my job. I love to drive, and I love my passengers, most of them anyway. This isn't just a job, this is a career, and one you should be proud to be a part of. One of the reasons I love this job is when we are out on the road, it kind of feels like we're our own boss. We have independence, and you get to meet people every day. It really is a great job. Our passengers rely on us to get to work and to see their families and loved ones. It's our job to get them there safely and on time. Make sure you are consistent, fair, and professional, and you will love your job too. You will face challenges every day, and some days will test you. But the key to success in this industry is one word: respect. Treat your passengers with respect, kindness, and remember that they are humans. You can't choose your passengers, but you can choose how you treat people. Treat everyone equally. You get back what you put out into the world, and I really do mean that. When you treat passengers with respect and kindness, you will develop a rapport with them. I've seen kids grow. I've seen little kids get on the bus with their mothers, and now they are adults. Annie rides with me, and she's been riding with me since she was in a stroller with her mama pushing her. She is 23 now. She and her mom take the bus most days. I waited for a passenger recently who returned my kindness by calling Tran and giving me accommodation. You and your passenger are part of a community. They are your neighbors, and they may be your friends, and you may even start to feel like their family. Remember our 6 core values: integrity, safety, recognition, communication, teamwork, and most of all, respect. Remember your training. Know that we will be here to support you. I commend you all for completing your training. I know that our training is rigorous and challenging. Many of you have already been driving routes, but today you become officially recognized as transportation professionals. Congratulations to all of you. This is a proud moment, and I know you will make us all proud. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to working with you, and what was your writing? Welcome to the Tran family. Oh, I know what happened. Thank you for joining the Tran family. We look forward to working with you all, and we welcome you to the Tran family.
Thank you, Loretta, for speaking on your experience as an operator and giving those valuable tips to our graduates. Next, I'd like to have our Assistant County Administrator, Mr. Todd J. Bonlaren, join me to give a few remarks. Now, there was one time in a story that I'll just share really briefly that I remember. Todd was giving a speech to a lot of executives. He works with our commission very closely and our county administrator, and he was in this room challenging everyone to ride the bus, and he was sharing his experience riding the bus. So he might be riding your bus one day. Just remember that. But I'd like to ask Todd to come up and share a few words.
Thank you, Evan. I thought he was going to tell the story about when I was doing a speech in front of a lot of executives, and I actually rapped my speech to them, and he was going to challenge me to do that for you today. So I'm glad you didn't do that. But you'll have an opportunity to do that. Maybe in the talent show, the Palm Tran Talent Show, we'll be able to come back and share some of those skills with you later on. I am a frequenter of the one route. So some of you who might be driving the one, you might see me pop on there in West Palm Beach. I take it from my house on the south end of the city of West Palm Beach, and it takes me right here to City Hall and the library, and then a quick walk over here. And it's a great experience. It's an amazing experience. I've got some frequenters on there that I recognize, and they recognize me sometimes when I'm coming. And that's the beautiful thing about Palm Tran. This is a family. It's a family that you've walked into. And as Loretta pointed out, it's a career. This is a career. And you all have made an important decision in your lives. And I hope that you think of it that way. This is not just a job. This is an incredible opportunity for you to be here, for you to excel at what you do, for you to grow at what you do, to be able to provide for yourself, for your family, and not just today and tomorrow, but really for the rest of your lives. And I can tell you that people like Joey Acevedo, who was here and gave some remarks earlier on behalf of the union, just the same way that we fight for our employees and for benefits and opportunities, he too and the union is out there working and fighting for you as well. And I would encourage you to spend some time with Joey and his team as well to get to know them, because they're an integral part of the team that we have here also. I'm so glad that Mr. Blaylock brought up our safety team and took some time out to share them with you individually. One of the most important things that we focus on here at Palm Tran day in and day out is safety. And it's not safety just for those folks that get on your bus. It's safety for you, for all of your colleagues and the folks that you work with, for other people outside of the bus as well. It's something that we take incredibly seriously. And if I can put one thing in your mind, it's safety, safety, safety. When you're out there on that vehicle, when you are working, please keep that in mind at all times. This was mentioned a few times before, and first off, I want to say, one of the beautiful things I love about Palm Tran is that whether you look sharp or not, we make you look sharp. And every single one of you in here looks amazing. And that is the beautiful thing that I love about Palm Tran, is that we uniform our employees. We want our employees to look good. We want them to feel good. When other people see them, we want them to say, oh, that's a Palm Tran employee. I recognize that right off the gate. And as Mr. Blaylock said, you are our ambassadors. You are that front line. You are that contact that the 1.5 million people that live in Palm Beach County and the millions and millions of others that visit here and get on our bus from time to time and ride it when they're visiting, you may be the only people that they ever connect with, that they ever talk to that is a county employee. And that will always be a reflection on every single one of us. And it's something that we want to instill in each and every one of you. And it's something that I want to thank you for in advance for being great ambassadors for our county and particularly for Palm Tran. So I welcome you to this team. You'll see me in the operator rooms, popping in there from time to time, sitting down, breaking bread, listening to complaints that you might have, coming up with solutions to some of those complaints, and sometimes just being there to thank you for the service that you do. And so thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to spend with you on this graduation. I wish you all the best of luck, but more importantly, I want you to know that we're here for you when you need us, the same way that I think that you're going to be there for us when we need you as well. So thanks so much. Congrats.
Thank you, Todd. It's now my honor to introduce Dr. James Green, the Director of Palm Beach County Community Services Department, as today's keynote speaker. Dr. Green has dedicated his entire career to fighting for those who are often left behind, and his upbringing has taught him the value of hard work and the importance of giving back, and he's carried those lessons with him throughout his life. With 16 college-educated siblings and a father who served his country and earned a degree from Tuskegee University, James was raised in a family that placed a high value on education and service. Despite growing up in poverty and facing numerous challenges, he and his siblings never lost sight of their goals. Today, James is the director of Palm Beach County Community Services Department, where he leads efforts to address some of the most pressing issues facing our community. He's a tireless advocate for affordable housing, racial justice, and ending homelessness. And he works tirelessly to bring together leaders from various sectors to find solutions. James is a man of deep faith and strong family values, and he's a devoted husband and father. And that's where he credits his success to the love and support of his family. He has also earned his bachelor's degree from Auburn University, his master's from Palm Beach Atlantic University, and his PhD from Florida Atlantic University. Please join me in welcoming Dr. James Green.
Thank you, Evan. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Good. I'm very, very excited to be here this afternoon. It's especially quite the honor to be here and to think about my dear friend Clinton and all the work that he has put into this organization and making it what it is. And you know, I've had a number of conversations with Mr. Forbes, and I recall his viewpoint on what our bus operators and our maintenance workers mean to the organization. And he absolutely understood and believed in the critical nature of the work that you do. I mean, you guys, just most of the time that he talked about the importance of the work that you do, and what you do is gold. It's golden. There are shortages all over the country that people are dealing with, and he was always challenging himself to figure out ways to be innovative in bringing you in and making sure that you're trained, and most importantly, making sure that you're retained. And this is just one avenue for doing so. So congratulations to you for all of the efforts that you've made to get to this point, and to all of those who've been involved in supporting you along the way. So, you know, it's really interesting because anytime I get up and I speak, oftentimes I have this speech that I write, but I never know whether or not I'm going to actually use it until I get up here. And so I've been up here processing whether or not I would read the speech to you or whether or not I would just speak to you from the heart. And I'm here now, and I just want to speak to you from the heart, if you will, because your story is similar to my story. Some of the things that you've encountered throughout your journey is very similar to some of the things that I've encountered throughout my journey. And I'm very proud to be here, to be in a position where I can have an impact, a meaningful impact on my family, on my community, throughout this county, and in the world around me. And I think that a lot of what I'm able to do is derived from lessons that I learned throughout my life, particularly lessons that I've learned from my father, who is no longer with me. He would have been 105 years old come this September. But there were some amazing lessons that I learned from him. One of the main lessons that I learned is that sometimes you have to start where you are, and that you have to use what you have, and that you have to do what you can, and you must see it through. So to start where you are, to use what you have, to do what you can, and to see it through. And so please just allow me to digress for a moment and share a story, and then I'll circle and try to make the connection as to what those things actually mean. So I'm from a small town in Alabama. Most of you probably don't know many people from Alabama. But I grew up in a large family. My dad had 17 kids, and all of their names start with a J. And so I would go to school, and they'd be like, Jick, Jock, Junk, Jock, Jesus, just throwing out any J, and just joking and cracking on us because all of our names started with a J. But my dad was a hard worker. He worked with the county government. He actually ran the extension co-op for Autauga County, Alabama. And he was married twice. So his first wife had 8 kids, and then he met my mom on the job, for those of you that meet people and your spouses on the job, and he had 9 more kids after that. And so what's really interesting is I just turned 50 during the month of April. And when I was 50, I had a brother that was 50 with me for 2 weeks, right? And then when he turned 51, I had a sister that was 51 with him for 2 days. So they were just popping them out back to back. I don't know what they were thinking back in the day. But we were a very tight-knit family. We all graduated from college. Nobody stayed home. No one stayed home after they graduated from high school, and it's because when my dad when he finished, he retired in 1979 from the Extension Co-op. He took up farming as a hobby, and so we grew up working hard, working on the farm. So that manual labor that you experience, and that work that's so critical, farming and producing farm is necessary for us to eat and survive as a community, as a country. It's essential, and the work that you do is essential. But we grew up on a farm, and so we worked hard. We would get up early in the morning, and we would go to the fields, and we would have to pick the vegetables, and we would see the school bus, driving by with kids on the school bus. And they'd be looking at us passing, laughing out the window. And then we would get up, go to school, take a bath, go to school, and then as soon as we were done, we would be right back out in the fields working. And so my dad believed in hard work. And anytime we weren't working, we would be outside playing with the neighbors, and if we hear my dad's truck coming up, he had squeaky wheels on the brakes. He didn't do the maintenance on the truck like he needed to. But we would run back in the house. Why? Because we knew if he saw us out there playing, he would put us back to work. So needless to say, we all left, and we all worked. And we worked the farm. That was a big part of what we did. But when we were young, I can remember I must have been 6. My brother Jeremiah was 5. I had a brother, Jonathan, who was around 7. We lived in the country. And if you know anything about farming, you know that during the winter, some of the grass would grow up, right? And so there would be these big fields around us. And if you can just imagine our house, right? Our house is here. And behind our house is just a bunch of woods. And between our house and the woods were just these big fields where my dad had farmed and the hay had built up. And I remember leaving out of the house, it had to be like one Saturday morning, and there was a box of matches on the piano. My dad played the piano, and there's a bunch of box of matches, and I remember grabbing the matches, and we were just going out in the woods one day. We were just looking to explore and just learn things out in the woods. And I took the matches, and I remember walking behind the house, and I remember I was here, Jeremiah was here, Jonathan was here, and I took that box of matches, and I dropped it. I don't know why. I don't know why I did it. But I remember the matches that going all the way to the ground, and the grass and the hay, as a little child, was up like to here. And so I remember the grass, the fire just, woof, just coming up in flames. And I don't know what Jonathan and Jeremiah did at the time, but I just took off, right? I started running. And I ran back in the house. I was like, Dad, there's a fire, there's a fire. And all of my brothers and sisters, they jumped up and they went out And they started grabbing blankets and just hitting on the fire, trying to put it out. And there was a hose pipe with water. We're filling up the buckets, just trying to put out the fire. And then all of a sudden, I heard this strange noise behind me, right? And I turn around, and there my dad is on a tractor. Now, if anyone knows anything about farming, there's this thing called a disc. What they use it for is to break the ground and to cultivate the ground, right? The disc was on the back of the tractor, and so we're just there trying to put out the fire and put out the fire. And my dad just starts driving around in circles, driving around in big circles. And the fire just kept getting higher, and I remember saying, man, if that fire catches those woods, it's gonna be over, right? And so we're putting it out, putting out the fire, and all of a sudden when the fire got to where my dad was driving, it just, poof, it just went out. And then it was time for the reckoning. Now, I'm from Alabama. I had never heard of a DCF before I came here, and I had never heard of it. And, my dad was old school. And, of course, that's the way. I don't think my dad was abusive. I want to get that out there, because sometimes that happens. But he was old school, and they believed in, the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. They took that literally, right? And so, and anybody that's ever received like a whipping or anything when you're a child, you know that long before you ever get touched, you started crying, right? And so Jeremiah was first, and he got his, and then Jonathan was next, and he got his. And when my dad got to me, he didn't do anything, right? And I didn't say anything at the time, but some years later, I asked Dad, do you remember that time when you started the fire? He's like, which time, right? And I was like, you remember the time you got on the tractor? I was like, why didn't I get in trouble that day? And my dad, in his infinite wisdom, he said, well, if you had gotten in trouble and it happened again, would you have come and told me? So he, in his infinite wisdom, knew and understood that his reaction at that very moment could impact the future, right? But more importantly, he understood that whose responsibility is it to make sure that the matches are up at a place where kids can't get it anyway. And so he had to take responsibility for his own action. He had to start where he was and to take responsibility for his own actions. And many of you have fires in your life. You have fires with regards to your health. You might be going home and starting a fire with your wife or whomever. There's fires burning there. There are fires maybe even happening within your job, right? And it's incumbent upon you to take responsibility for where you are in the environment that you have created. To start where you are and to take that responsibility, because that's going to be the thing that leads to change. But you also have to use what you have. Now, if anyone knows, for hay fields, you can bale that hay and actually sell it, right? And make money. My dad could have done that, made money, and prevented the fire from happening in the first place. Think about us and the resources that we have around us. A lot of times, it's difficult to live in Palm Beach County, but we have resources, not just the resource that you're using right now and getting this certification and graduation, and this is going to allow you to begin to earn more, and if you are interested in moving beyond that, you can do that, but also resources around us, talents that you have that you can leverage and bring to bear so that you can reach your goals. And so you need to use what you have as well, and always do what you can. Always do what you can. I could have ducktailed and ran and hid, and the fire could have burned, and it could have, caused a major disaster. But I did what I could, right? And many of you are dealing with situations and you want to give up. You feel like, you're not getting the progress that you need, but continue to do what you can and make sure that you see it through. Anytime I get discouraged, when I'm trying to be resilient, I think about this poem by Edgar A. Guest. It's called See It Through. He says, when you're up against the trouble, meet it squarely face to face. Lift your chin, set your shoulder, plant your feet, and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fail, but you may conquer. See it through. Black may be the clouds about you, and your future may seem grim. But don't let your nerves desert you. Keep yourself in fighting trim, because if the worst is bound to happen, despite all that you can do, running from it will not save you. So see it through. Even hope may seem but futile when with trouble you're beset. But remember, you're facing just what other men have met. So you may fail, but fall still fighting. Don't give up, whatever you do. Eyes front, head high, to the finish. See it through. So start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can, and see it through. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Green, for coming to us with your keynote speech and speaking from the heart. We really appreciate you being here. Now for the moment that we've all come for, the presentation of our graduates. I'm going to ask Dr. Green, Mr. Bonlaren, Mr. Blaylock, and Mr. Bodiger to please join us on the dais in the back near the flags. When I call forward each graduate's name, please come to take a photo, and then you'll receive your certificate on the other end. And then you can return back to your seats. All right, we'll begin with our bus operators. Tayandrick Allen, please come forward. Tony Alvarado. Jasper Askins. Renavia Clark Buchanan. Benito Cadet. Oscar Castano. Jeff Charles. Antonio DeChico. Philistin Decimus. Nicole Driekford. Ben Williams Dusenard. Cesar Gonzalez. Jennifer Hanna. Franz Lesage. Ashbel Nesbeth. Dwayne Revere. Lakeisha Scarlett. And Richard Walker. Now for our maintenance technicians. Anthony Cram. Lucas Jones. Jensen Mendoza. Myron Simmons. Fabian Lala. And Tanisha Reynolds. Happy birthday.
Palm Tran in 1921, 53 years later, is the first African-American female maintenance technician.
Happy birthday, y'all. On behalf of Palm Tran, the Board of County Commissioners, and the citizens in Palm Beach County, I want to say congratulations and thank you for your dedication to completing bus operator training and maintenance technician training. Thank you, Dr. Green, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to deliver the keynote address, and to our guests who are attending online and in person. Thank you to our Palm Tran staff for welcoming our newest graduates with open arms. This concludes today's ceremony, and at this point, we'd like our graduates to stay for 1 second for a group photo behind the dais, and then afterwards, you feel free to exit on either side of the chamber. Thank you for coming. All right, so we can get one last photo. If everyone wants to come up, we'll get one right over here.